I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Use the Force, Luke.
Screen Unseen.
Afternoon, listeners. We are Screen Unseen. Sadly, today we are missing a member. Siobhan is AWOL.
But we've replaced her.
Yeah, bitches.
We got Asha in here.
Which, not having Siobhan on this show, it might be
This
for the
one in
best.
particular,
She doesn't
yeah.
really know much about horror. She hates
Yeah,
horror.
that's our topic for this week, horror. And she left me in the cinema when we were watching It Follows because she didn't realize what it was. So she's not okay with horror. So it's probably best we have Asha here then, because she probably wouldn't have had much to say. So we'll start off with the movie news this week. So there actually wasn't very much news this week. It was kind of a slow week in Hollywood, but like the box office this week, but we'll get to that. Disney has announced the full cast along with images of their respective characters to their upcoming Disney classic Zootopia. The cast features a star-studded cast including Octavia Spencer, Idris Elba, J.K. Simmons, Jenny Slate, Tommy Lister, and more. Disney have also announced they are launching a UK streaming service next month, which enables Irish and UK viewers to access Disney's vast back catalogue, minus Star Wars and Marvel, which includes all Pixar's films to date as well, for the price of $9.99 a month. So yeah.
Wow.
I would do that. I would pay that.
Yeah, because if you really think about it, they have so many movies.
Yeah, that's like pretty much you sorted for like procrastinating everything in life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm down. Who are all those people you just listed though? Because I don't know any of them.
Well, Octavia Spencer's in How to Get Away with Murder, isn't she? Or is that her? No,
No, that's...
I'm mixing her up. She's in...
What is she in?
her name begins with a V. The one from...
Yeah. What is her...
But she was
Viola.
in
Let's
Insurgent
go with
earlier,
Viola.
but she's
It's Viola.
Viola Davis.
Yeah, I was right.
Okay.
Yo, yeah, that's her. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh.
No, I know who she is. She has kind of like a wide face. She was in Insurgent.
If that, like, narrows it down
Oh,
for you. She has
okay.
a wide face.
Yeah, but
Oh,
she's
yes,
like won an
that
Oscar.
one.
So. And then Idris Elba is like, he's like Luther, and he's in...
He's supposed to be the new James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who else was in it?
Where's he from?
He's English.
Okay,
So-
so then he'd be a good James Bond.
J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, and he was in a lot of other stuff as well.
Oh, yes. The bald guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I don't know who the other two are, but apparently they're like
They're
good actors.
notable.
So yeah. But yeah, the streaming service, like, I feel like they have so much shit that like
They might
I
as
think
well.
You could
so
get
many
through it.
people would buy into that.
I feel like
it's
for
just-
$9.99 though, they should have just thrown Star Wars and Marvel
Yeah,
into it.
I don't know
like-
why they're not included.
Yeah, well, they might kind of
Unless it's
sell
tar-
it separately.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah,
unless it's
they might do
targeted
it
more towards
separate.
kids, but like,
That's the
It could be.
thing is like when you think about it, they could do a completely separate one just for Star Wars and Marvel because the people who would watch Marvel probably would also watch Star Wars and it would just kind of overlap a little
Yeah.
bit.
And
Yeah.
how much are they how much money are they making now with all of that coming out? And then you're just including it in a $9.99 deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna make more money this way,
Yeah.
isn't it?
the only
That's
sad thing
it.
is you're probably going to see all the Disney movies disappear off Netflix now.
I know.
Yeah, because I was just
and
about to
that's my
say, like, it's kind
life.
of pointless if, like, they are on Netflix.
Yeah, but they'll probably take them down if they're going to put it on their own thing.
Yeah, but it
And
makes
I don't think
sense.
like to pay for Netflix and the Disney thing every month, that'd be like €20 a month.
Yeah, people just won't do that.
So that's a lot. But I mean, I guess if you're like a parent, it's so handy to just be like, oh well, look, you can just watch
Exactly,
Disney
because, like,
movies on
parents
there.
aren't
Yeah.
buying DVDs anymore for their children. Like,
Yeah.
they're, like, streaming stuff on
Yeah, it's
iPads and all this kind of
yeah.
stuff.
And like, because parents are starting to get a lot more tech savvy now as well.
yeah,
so-
exactly.
Yeah.
And like they have, I'm assuming they're putting on all the like TV shows as well.
Oh, maybe. Probably.
That would, yeah, I
They
think that'd
should
make
do
it a
like
whole lot better.
old school, all the old school TV
I would
shows.
love
Everyone
that,
would be
like
aren't
Boy
they?
Meets
Isn't
World and
Nickelodeon
stuff.
doing like a back to the '90s thing?
Yeah, on
Yeah, they're
Teen Nick, they
revamping.
do it. Teen Nick is, like, a separate channel. It's obviously not here, I don't think. But in the States, it's there. And they just do, like, all that. And
Aw.
Doug and Football Head. Or Hey Arnold, not Football Head. Hey Arnold and all this kind of stuff. So it's cool, but it starts at, like, 10 p.m. and it goes until, like, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch all the old stuff, it's on.
Yeah, like, because
Yeah,
there's
I
nowhere
need
to really
that.
watch like shows like Recess and like Filler
Yeah.
and like even the old Disney like Lizzie McGuire and stuff. Like, there's nowhere to watch that like in order. Like, there's nowhere to stream it. Like,
And like
Yeah,
Mikey found
exactly.
recently that it's very hard to get your hands on Cheetah Girls online. So,
so hard. Honestly,
very
So he's
distressed
sorted
craving
now.
those
It's
cheetah
fine.
girls.
yeah, I was just for $9.99 a month. All the cheetah girls, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So moving on then. So Daniel Craig is making a lot of headlines this week due to what seems to be his complete hatred of playing James Bond. Craig says he would rather die than play the character again, which is a disappointment to the people who claim this is Craig's defining Bond film. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of a frustrating character to play. Like I can understand him in some
You're
ways.
definitely pigeonholed like a good bit in
Yeah.
this character.
Yeah.
But I think it really gave him his name. So like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think when actors bash their roles and like
It
the
just
movies
doesn't
they've
look
been
good,
in, no, it
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah,
It's so
especially when
unprofessional.
he's so good as well. It's almost like he's just being like really cocky, like oh well.
He definitely
Yeah.
wouldn't have gotten the role in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo either if it wasn't for James Bond.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of a James Bondy character.
That's the thing. It's like when like Hollywood stars, whatever, like bash like the big films are in. It's like, well, if it wasn't for the big films you're in, you wouldn't be able to get the little films that
Yeah,
you're in,
exactly.
that
Yeah,
you're actually like
exactly.
making. So
But I was saying to the girls before you came in that you wanted to go see James Bond tonight, and they were both like, no.
really,
Yeah,
I
mine
really
too.
they heard
just
that
like
it was
the Bond
bad.
films.
Yeah. So I heard
it's gotten really good reviews though.
That's it.
I think
Oh,
some
I heard it
people
was
just
bad.
hate or love James Bond. I think at
Yeah.
this point.
It's
I
definitely
mean, some people
Marmite.
didn't like Skyfall either, but
Like,
like,
it's a
that's
critic-
my favorite
Yeah,
one.
it's a
so.
critic classic, so I think it will always do well with the critics, but like in the actual public, it is a very hit or miss, I think,
Yeah,
series.
and I think people are kind of sick of the whole like format as well of just like, oh, there's the Bond girl. And,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
my thing. Is I feel like maybe it's controversial, but I'm like, if you see one, you've kind of seen them all. Like
Yeah.
that's
I
my
agree,
view on
definitely.
it. It's like I saw Skyfall and I did like it, but it's kind of like I also saw the older ones and it was very much the exact same
Yeah.
kind of plot thing going on.
Yeah, there's no real like threat either because you know it's like never gonna end. So
yeah, so
Yeah.
like no one, like nothing's gonna kill James Bond. Everything will kill everything
Yeah.
around James
yeah,
Bond.
and I mean
but-
like it's even the way that it's gone on for so long. It's like nothing that happens in the last one, well, and except for the ones now. I think they're kind of keeping in like a series or whatever. But like
Yeah.
usually like nothing that happens in the last one really affects what happens in the
Yeah,
next one.
exactly.
kind of
Because
thing.
Yeah.
So,
you want new viewers to just be like, okay, that's fine.
yeah, so you're kind of just watching like the same movie on loop, but a
Yeah.
different style every time. So yeah, I can see that though. I can understand why
Mhm.
people don't like it. And I just put my phone down when I'm supposed to read the news. But anyway, so finally then, 20th Century Fox, as reported by Box Office Mojo, has settled on a May 12th, 2017 release date for an upcoming Amy Schumer comedy, which will be helmed by Bridesmaids director Paul Feig. And they also announced that Kingsman 2 will arrive June 16, 2017, and serve as a sequel to the very successful 2015 action comedy Kingsman: The Secret Service, starring Colin Firth and Taron Egerton. So what do we think about those?
I
announcements?
so excited for
love
Kingsman too.
Taron Egerton. So
He's there.
that movie was so good. I loved
it
so
was
much.
flawless. Like that's the kind of movie that I would actually watch over and over again.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why. It was
There's just
so
like
charming.
good twists, and the characters were good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it deserves a sequel as well.
Definitely.
I think because it didn't end the way you think it is. You know, the main character always gets what it's meant to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it-
and then
and he
when it
didn't,
doesn't, it's
so,
kind of
yeah.
like,
There's serious rumors that Colin Firth will be back in it.
Oh really?
That like he will be making a comeback. That he's
Somehow.
not dead.
Some like
Even though he got shot in the head, he's not dead.
he was actually wearing like bulletproof skin. That
Exactly.
day.
With the whole Amy Schumer thing, I could do without Amy Schumer in my life anymore.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
so sick of Amy Schumer's face. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
not into
There's
it.
only so much, but at the same time, like, that director Paul Feig, he seems to like not be doing anything wrong at the minute. Like,
yeah, he actually, and Bridesmaids was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and he's doing the new female Ghostbusters next year as well.
that'll be
Oh,
good.
okay.
That would
I
be
didn't know that was
interesting.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's like a new lineup of Ghostbusters. That's all
I like
females.
that. Girl power.
I think is she in that?
No, she's not.
She's not.
Kristen
Thank
Wiig
God.
is.
Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy.
I love them together. They're the
This
best.
is-
Yeah, and they haven't been together in a while as well. So
Yeah.
And two other girls. I can't remember who they are.
I feel like
I
it's going to
think
be
they're
more
like
of
on
a kiss
SNL.
tape.
I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, with them in it, you know, it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
It's
like
gonna be
a bit of
comedy,
a-
like,
Yeah.
so-
I mean, Ghostbusters.
But it's
is
probably
funny,
better that they
but-
do that than try to
Do it
stick
again.
so close. Because
Yeah.
Ghostbusters
Yeah,
is such a classic,
that's
you
why
don't want to do that.
They kind of got a lot of criticism because they're like, oh, well, like you're just making a female one for the sake of it. But then it's like it could be really funny. Like, I
Yeah.
think don't knock it until you see it.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
exactly. I think as well, like if they kind of went the route, what was it? Oh, it was Jump Street 22, where they literally like, just were making fun of themselves doing like, the whole thing. I think it'd be like a lot funnier that way. I think if they just took the piss out of themselves, it would probably be really successful.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of moments like that, I think, where they're like, well, what if this was a male team? Well,
Yeah,
we couldn't
exactly.
do this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, just play up on the fact like of everything that everyone's giving out about being all female. You just have to play, like you have to run with it.
Yeah,
and just
definitely.
be like,
Yeah.
If we throw it back in your face, like you can't say anything about it.
Yeah,
But
exactly, because you
Yeah.
just directly confronted it.
So, but yeah, Amy Schumer, I'm kind of done with. Some of her material is funny, but she's more like just uncomfortably controversial.
Yeah.
It's the same thing
Yeah.
every time as well.
And she thinks she's like really groundbreaking for like pointing out that she is a white female comic and like pointing out race issues and stuff, which you can do to a certain extent, but it's just then it goes, you're like, eh.
Yeah, I just find like that it's exhausting to like even just sit through like an interview, like watching an interview with her, because I just think she's such an intense person
Yeah.
that it's like, whoa, you need to cool down, have a nap, and like come back to this.
What did she present? What awards? Was it something to do with MTV?
I think it was the MTV
the
Movie Awards or something.
I think it was, yeah.
Because I remember, like, I didn't have a clue who she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because she only really came about. Like, I don't even know what made her famous.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
She
couldn't
did
say.
stand up, and then she got a TV show on Comedy Central, The Life of Amy or something,
Oh, yeah.
and it was just kind of skits for the most part, and it's just, I don't know. What's really bad, you remember the shooting that happened in a movie theater recently? It was at her movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So then she had to come out and like make statements and was like really sad, which like it's good she did, but at the same time it just added to the whole uncomfortable factor,
Yeah.
like that she had to be so serious.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just done. She needs to go home.
Yeah, she does.
And we are back. I think it's time for the review.
Yeah, so this week we went to see Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension, which was,
An experience.
you know what? It was exactly like every other Paranormal Activity movie. So
Except it was worse because this one was definitely supposed to give us answers and it didn't.
yeah, and you know what? Like, I really didn't like about it, and this isn't really a spoiler, but it's kind of a spoiler because like basically the whole gimmick of the movie is they have like this camera and they like like it's you're able to see like the ghosts basically because it like picks up the spirits or whatever. And like it was cool at the start, but then like toward like as it goes on, like you full on are able to see the monster for the whole thing, and it's like the whole reason why Paranormal Activity was so scary is because like shit was flying across the room and you
Yeah,
didn't know
you
what was
never
doing it,
know.
but now you can
Yeah.
just see this like ratchet
Black mass.
CGI mess like throwing shit across the room, and it's like
No.
literally what's the point? Like
It was, yeah, the CGI, it was a bit much. The like whole, just no. And there was like unnecessary characters as well. Like the whole, like mom's best friend was there, and the dad's brother was there who'd just been dumped over email, and so then he was creeping on the mom's friend and had this big porno stash, and I was just like, why are you here?
it was so random.
Also, why do they have to make the little child ginger? That didn't help anything.
Yeah, I know. And the child was like creepy, but like it's easy to make a child be creepy in a horror movie.
Yeah.
But it was also like we've seen creepy child before. Like Paranormal Activity 3 was literally creepy children. We didn't need to see it again in another
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity movie.
And the whole twist to like link all the children together from the different movies, like it was quite predictable. Before they even said in the movie, I was like, this is what they're
Yeah,
doing.
I mean it was cool that they linked in all like the Coven stuff, but they didn't explain it enough. Like
yeah.
it
Why
was like
were there bloody goats? What?
and
like,
they didn't bring back any of the characters from the previous ones either, so it was just like, yeah, well, like we can mention them but they're not actually here. Like they
Yeah.
didn't bring back Katie or Hunter, which I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of like she's still messed up, like what's up with her? Like
yeah, Katie killed an entire. They did mention that she was like being hunted down though. That like
Yeah.
she had killed the whole family.
but was she in? Okay, I don't even know. Like
She wasn't in it, but like they mentioned that they're like, oh, I found this police report. Like, Hunter's missing, and his aunt Katie killed his entire family. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's what happened with them.
I'm trying really hard not to tread on spoilers, but like really it doesn't matter because you shouldn't go see this movie anyway. But for the people that do want to go see it, we won't spoil it. But
I would just recommend do not pay money to see it. I would
don't
sit
give it a
down and
sense,
have a
like-
marathon by yourself. I think you'll get more out of it after like watching all of them one after the
you'll
other.
probably fall asleep because there's so much like filler crap in it as well. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, look, like I got like my hair cut today, and like they just go around the house with like a camera and film shit that no one cares about to
Which
fill
I
up
mean,
time.
all of them did that, but like this one was like extreme.
Because they literally had nothing else to do,
Yeah.
so they were like,
So
it's just all filler. But I don't know, like I feel like just make sure to not pay for it, so you don't give them any money, and then they won't make any more, and they
Yeah.
can make new horror movies.
they really can't anymore because they've definitely just cut themselves off. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I only saw the second, and I just felt like the plot was really convoluted because there was just like too much going on with it. Is my only thing. I
That's
was
the thing.
I
Like
couldn't
up
even
until
follow.
now, you had
Yeah.
no idea what was going on, and then they try to explain it, but it's like they keep like drawing on things from the previous movies and stuff, and it just like some of it was making sense and some of it wasn't, and it was kind of like
I think the first and second ones didn't really get any like good traction until the third one was released, and then you're like, okay, well this makes sense now.
But like the third one is the only one that really matters. Like the first
the third, and the fourth doesn't really
the
matter.
fourth
But I
is
did
irrelevant.
like the fourth.
The fourth one is literally irrelevant. Like,
But it's a good, out of all of them, it's one of the better ones.
Are they meant to go in sequence? Are you meant to?
They
well, the
kinda
third
jump
one is
back
like
and forth between like time periods, but they
Yeah.
all link together. Which the fifth one, I suppose it does do a good job connecting all of them, but it doesn't give you answers like it's supposed to. They're
Yeah.
like, this is how it's connected, but let's just like throw you for a whirlwind, and like this doesn't even make sense anymore, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know. I just was disappointed. I didn't have high hopes for it, but I was still disappointed.
Not worth seeing.
No.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. Like, literally, don't go see this movie. Like, it's honestly, I don't know. It's just, it's one of those bad horror movies. That, like, it's like even the jump scares are like they kind of give you a heart attack, but then afterwards you're like, oh, it wasn't even worth it. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like,
just, I shouldn't even be scared by this. Like, it's just loud noises,
Yeah, it didn't even make the top 5 for the weekend box office,
which
if
means
that
it's
tells you
definitely the last
anything.
one. So
Yeah.
I
on the
think it's
plus
just
side.
been milked too much. Like
Yeah.
it would, like they probably could have done what they did in like 2 films.
Exactly. If they cut out all like the
Yeah.
cameras and stuff, like they could have morphed the first 2 into a movie, and then like the third and this one into one, like literally.
Yeah, definitely.
And then they made like a Latino spin-off or something last year.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
what
the
was that
marked
about?
one, which I haven't even seen.
What was it?
The marked ones? It had to do with like basically scary ass like grandmas, like haunted abuelas, being like, ooh, let me light all these candles. Ah, you have scratches on your back. Ah. And it's just like, okay.
Basically like Paranormal Activity, the Mexican version.
Basically, yeah.
With
It
old people.
honestly it looked like that, but I don't know. I don't remember hearing any like reviews. I don't think.
It got bad reviews.
Did
That's-
it?
That's
Okay.
all I
I
know.
th-
Like,
I don't think you even need to hear about the reviews. You just know it was bad.
Yeah.
I think the only Paranormal Activity to have like a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes is like the first one, and then the rest are just rotten.
See, I didn't really like the first one.
The first one bored me.
Yeah,
like,
I found it was only exciting the last 5 minutes when like
Yeah.
Katie goes crazy.
yeah.
So
I actually have seen that, and I didn't realize I had. But thinking back on it now, like everyone was like, "Oh, it's such a scary film," and then I watched
There was
it,
so
and I was
much
like,
hype over it.
"Nothing
Mm.
happened.
nothing
like,
happened.
Nothing happened in the
Entire
film."
movie.
It's just the last
5
few minutes, and
yeah.
you're just like, oh my god, and that kind of drives you to see the next one.
Yeah.
Because you want
See
to
if
know
it'll
what
get
actually
better.
Yeah,
happened.
exactly. But like, for the people who saw it in cinema, I don't know how they were like, oh yeah, I'll go see the next one, because it was like a year
Yeah.
between the two, and I would have lost interest.
Yeah, I know that the last, like, the one, the Ghost Dimension or whatever, it kind of left, like, a bad taste in my mouth over the series as a whole, because, like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, all of this would have been worth it if, like, it had some great resolution,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it didn't, and, like, now that you know that's what the monster looks like as well,
It's
you're
not
just like,
even that scary. Like, if they done CGI right, maybe we would have had like a different tune to sing right now.
yeah,
But at the same time, as a whole, it wasn't great.
Wasn't
it just, yeah, it could have just been made a lot better, so.
So.
Paranormal.
I used to get confused between like that set of movies and Insidious. I was just so confused. I just thought they were the same thing.
Insidious
No,
is
it-
supposed to be really frightening. I've never
Insidious
seen
is,
it.
like, my favorite
Yeah.
horror movie. It's so good. Like, the first one.
I haven't seen the first one. Which
And,
one
like,
did I see?
literally everyone that I
Third.
talk to is always like, oh yeah, I liked it up until it got weird. But then I was like,
Yeah.
no, when it got weird is when it got good.
See,
But,
that
like,
was my thing when they went to like
the further.
the weird realm thing. I was like, oh, here, we could have just stayed in this realm and we would have been fine.
Yeah.
But
Because it's such a scary horror movie up until that point.
exactly,
Then
and then it kind of like you're like, oh, okay, you're unsure of it, but I'd still recommend it to like people
yeah,
to see.
and the
Like, it is
second
worth
one
it.
kind of like totally explains all that, and then the third one kind of goes back to being like a proper like horror movie, like really scary horror movie.
Yeah. So I think it's just hard to make like a very pure horror movie these
I think
days.
The Conjuring was
Yeah.
kind of an idea, and even some people,
Mm.
like as good as The Conjuring was, some people thought it went too far as well at the end. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to get like right balance. But
Exactly.
The Conjuring was definitely one of the most frightening ones I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything that is like, I've always been of the opinion that I don't really like horror movies, and then I watch some and then I'm like, well, I do like them, but there isn't anything really happening. It's not actually that scary. I haven't seen anything really scary.
Yeah, I think like you're kind of in it for the thrills, but I think that's why
Yeah.
like I liked Insidious, because it had like a storyline and something to actually tell.
Definitely, yeah.
So.
The last horror film I saw was P2. Did anyone see that? P2.
No.
Never heard that.
It was like at my 15th birthday party, and I like,
Oh, I
screened it in my
see.
living room.
Throwback.
I was like, this is like my coming of age thing. Like, I can deal with a horror film, and I legit cried. Like, they stabbed a dog in this
Oh,
film.
Oh my
no.
god.
It was
no.
intense. I was like, because it's P2 is like the parking lot, so it's basically about like the different levels and like just stuff goes down.
Okay. I remember in one of the Amityville
Recommendation.
horrors, they killed a dog, and I was at a party. I was at a
Yeah.
birthday
Like,
party.
that's too far.
A
That's
girl
it.
cried
It
and
is too
left the party.
far.
She was scared of the film, but once they killed the dog, she was like, "I'm weeping," and left the party.
It just it gets too weird when you bring dogs into it. Like,
Yeah, there's
kill a
dead-
human, I don't care. Kill a dog, you mess with me. Like,
Yeah.
No, don't do it. Like,
So
A film that has always terrified me, like, I don't even know why, because it's not that scary, is The Ring.
Oh, is this the Ring Girl thing? Yeah.
It's always terrifying. I've always had bad dreams about that, and I don't get nightmares, but I do about The Ring.
See, if you give kind of these haunted characters a good backstory, a
Yeah.
realistic backstory, that's what's gonna stick with you, and that's what's gonna freak you out. Like The
Yeah.
Purge freaks me out because I feel like that's where America's
Yeah.
gonna end up with
So
Donald Trump.
real.
Like,
Yeah.
so I refuse to watch The Purge. But like, also things with children, because children are creepy.
Yeah.
That's generally
Yeah.
like what does it for me. When children are talking to ghosts, I'm like,
When I had my really long hair, every time I got it wet, everyone said that I looked like the Ring Girl. So I've never
could see
seen it
that.
though.
I think I've
So-
watched it entirely either.
Yeah.
Well, what is is it Scary Movie that does the piss take of that?
Yeah.
is Scary Movie 3? Is
I
it?
actually
think it's
really
the third one.
enjoyed that one. Though.
I love Scary Movie. They're so good.
They are very funny.
Except for like the fifth one. I think that when they brought it back and it was with Charlie Sheen in it. Have you seen that one?
Oh, I
God,
didn't
if
even
it
see
has
that
Charlie
one.
Sheen in it these days, just stop.
Yeah, no, it was dreadful.
Yeah. That's the thing. Any films that go to number 5 are always like risky territory.
Yeah, I
Like when
think
you
Like, what are you
when you see
doing?
the number 5, you're like, oh, I don't know about
That
this.
shouldn't be
Yeah.
happening.
Unless it's meant to have 5 parts.
Yeah,
it's
then
good.
like
But yeah, I think like if you're gonna have multiple movies, like you stick with a trilogy or don't do it at all.
Exactly.
Either have 3 parts or not, or just one.
Yeah.
Like,
You could be Transformers and go to 8, you know.
Oh, let's
not.
just not discuss that. The Grudge was very similar to The Ring, I thought. Not in the
I always used to think the
Storyline, but-
the Ring Girl came from the Grudge.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
it?
it
that,
really
yeah.
confused me. But it turns out like Grudge is just like this angry Japanese old woman, isn't it?
yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that. She has a backstory as well. I've never seen it, but apparently that is quite terrifying, especially in Japanese.
is the Grudge blue?
No, I don't know. No, not
What's
blue.
the blue thing then?
Hot blue thing.
There's I think it's the Grudge and it's blue, whatever it is.
Is it like a slightly blue tinge to it?
Yeah,
maybe.
like a
Yeah.
Well,
blue
she's
tinted
dead,
person.
so like.
Yeah, and then she was like in water as well, wasn't it? I know that's the Ring as well, but like the Grudge also was in water of
Yeah.
some kind.
Did she live in vents or something?
Something like that. She was
Ooh.
always like
Oh
spraying
yeah,
around.
yeah,
Mystery.
no, she's blue. She's
Yeah.
like
But they
this
say the
blue
Japanese
person.
make the most messed up.
Yeah,
Movies.
and terrifying.
Yeah.
Because there was it a Japanese movie or was it a movie in the Middle East? And they were doing competition that you watch this movie by yourself in its entirety, and they'd give you $1 million.
Oh my.
No one
God.
got past half an hour.
Really?
Oh
And
my
I can't
God.
remember what movie it was, and I don't know if it's just because you're by yourself and then you overthink it, but like loads of people did it and they just couldn't like sit through it.
No.
That's
Because
crazy.
normally you can handle it
$1
when you're
million.
there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care if it's scarring for
Mikey's
life.
there.
I would do it. Like,
Yeah, you could afford your therapy after that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Normally it's after you've seen the film. That's when you're like, oh god, like you're really freaked out, not
Yeah.
during it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
so-
you are to a certain extent, but
And
it
then
plays
when you
mind
leave,
games.
then you like
after.
overthink it.
Yeah.
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 My favorite horror movie is one. It's in Spanish. It's a Mexican movie, and it's The Orphanage. So it's all subtitles,
Oh.
but
Oh, I've
it's
heard of
really
that,
I've
yeah.
heard
good.
of that, yeah.
It's supposed to be like terrifying.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, it's all subtitles. Like that's not gonna scare me if I'm gonna do a load of reading. Like not
Mm.
at
Yeah.
all. But it's so freaky. Just because I don't think there's never like any mention of like ghosts, but like it's kind of always in the back of your head.
Yeah.
It's about a child
Yeah.
disappearing in an orphanage, and it's really, you're just uncomfortable the entire time.
Yeah.
So
But that's like, even who was it? There was some like famous director who said like the scariest films are the ones where you don't ever see like what the actual thing is.
Exactly.
It's
That's why
because
part
like
of the
your
new
mind,
Paranormal was,
whatever
like-
your imagination makes up, is so much scarier than anything
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
be created.
mhm.
I saw a little bit of Babadook,
That was terrifying.
and that
It
was
was good.
actually
Never heard of
really
that.
good.
It was
Yeah.
good.
It was so
It's
good.
on Netflix.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
they
definitely
just
recommend
added,
that
I
one.
think,
That's
yeah.
really
Yeah.
good.
And that won a load of awards and stuff as well. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Because it was so just like, you literally just felt so uncomfortable the whole time, and you literally like didn't know what was gonna
Yeah.
happen next. It was
Yeah.
like,
And it was a bit like that. Like you just didn't know what it was for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just like your imagination freaks you out more than I think
yeah,
what's
Exactly.
actually
and like
going on.
you see it at the end, but it kind of like is
Yeah.
more like
It's
resolution
really,
thing. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you almost feel like you've resolved it in yourself, and that you can go home and
Yeah.
like be a normal
Yeah.
human being.
yeah,
I think the film that messed me up the most, and it's not like a typical horror film, it's mental. Human Centipede.
Oh,
never
never
seen
I
it.
haven't
Really?
seen it,
No.
and I have
Because-
no
no, thank
desire.
you.
to
It's like
see
this
it.
It's
crazy
vile.
German scientist, and you're like, that could happen.
Oh, that's
Like-
like what scares me the most about it, is that it could totally have
It
happened.
could be based on a true story. We don't even know.
Because isn't
And-
like the third one based that they do it in a prison?
Oh, the third
Yeah.
one's ridiculous. Apparently, they put like 900 people in the centipede or
But
something like
how? Like, how?
that.
I
It's
just think
ridiculous.
like it wouldn't reach all the way through. Like how gross as that sounds,
It
like,
wouldn't.
It like the people
Half
in the
of
middle
them
would
would
be
be
so
dead
malnourished.
already,
Like,
yeah.
they wouldn't have anything to crap out.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, the first one, I
Oh.
think, like, the tagline was, like, 100% medically accurate, and then the second one was, like, 100% medically inaccurate, because, like, there was 12 people in it, so... The second one, I remember me and my friends watched it at, like, a party. It was absolutely vile. Like, it was vile. We turned it off halfway. Because it's in, like, black and
Yeah.
white, and the guy is way creepier than the German guy. He's, like, this, like 45-year-old, like, overweight bachelor that lives with his mom. And, like, he's, like, obsessed with the first movie, and it's so weird. Like,
Oh, gross.
I
so
didn't
it makes it
think it
feel even
could
more
get-
real then,
Yeah,
because it's,
because
like,
then
it's
you're like,
inspired
that,
by the
that
first movie.
fan,
actually
yeah.
happens, yeah.
I didn't think it could get creepier than the first one. Like,
No,
that,
it doesn't.
the German accent on the man, it adds to it. I don't know why, but it just does.
I
The
think the
scene
German
where
accent's
he's
just
explaining
creepy,
what he
yeah.
was going to do to them, I was like, I can't do
I
it.
watched that with my mother, and it's like,
Oh.
you can watch horror films with your mother, but like films like that,
But
it
did you-
just gets a little awkward.
Did you not know what you were getting into?
Yeah, isn't the cover of the film like literally like
It
them
was
on all
just
fours?
on telly, and we were like, sure, let's watch it. It was my idea, of course it was. And then, because you want to know what happens, Mum was like, we're not turning it over, and it was like, but this is getting so awkward.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Siobhan's film she was going to talk about was Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a Halloween movie.
It is Halloween.
Yeah. That's like, I love that film.
And isn't it 20 or didn't it just turn 20? It had its
Something like
birthday.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're talking about doing a sequel.
Yeah.
It's very big this year.
Mm.
It kind of
Yeah,
has
there's
become
it's
like
all over
ingrained in pop
Facebook
culture.
today.
Yeah, like the nostalgia is definitely strong with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a camp counselor, and we called him Hobo John because he always looked homeless, and his phone was always shutting off, so he's always using like our cell phones to like call people. But his cousin was a little girl in Hocus Pocus, which I remember.
Really?
Yeah, like we didn't
Ah.
believe, but he like brought in like family photos one day, and he's like, "Look, there I am, and there she is." I was like, "Okay, Hobo John."
I swear, we're related.
Yeah.
His claim to fame.
Exactly.
I used to always watch Goosebumps at Halloween.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Haunted Mask episode's my favorite. It was
And there's a new
terrifying.
Goosebumps movie out now.
It's out now in the US. I don't think it comes out here for another bit. But
Why not like strike while it's hot? Just bring it out at Halloween everywhere.
Exactly.
I think that'll have a big nostalgia thing to it, though. I think a lot of people will go see it for.
Yeah, because it's
nostalgia.
all the like classic characters. Like it's the creepy like dummy and like all that kind of stuff.
See, I feel like that was around when I was so young. I don't really remember it. You know?
I read all the books.
I
Yeah,
didn't read
the
books, I
Goosebumps
just watched the
books,
TV
yeah.
show.
I watched the TV show and read all the books. Like, it was my thing.
We had all the books in school, and nobody ever touched them.
I bought them all secondhand. I remember because we just moved. It was like kind of a Goosebumps, right? And there was this really creepy old bookshop like up the road from like the new house I moved into when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And so they had them all secondhand in like this basket. I remember I just would buy like 2 every week and like read all of them.
2 in a week? Damn.
Well, they were really short,
That's an
but like
obsession.
I
You're
know.
such a
Well, I
bookworm.
was 8 and didn't have much money. Okay, I couldn't afford that. That was my reason.
She can afford DVDs.
But yeah, I just love them. They're so. I don't know if they'd be the same though if you'd go back and read them now.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Yeah.
things are always less sweet when you go back to
Yeah,
them,
so I don't think I'll ever pick one up and like try
Yeah.
to read it.
Yeah.
And
Story of
then-
My Life was Saved by the Bell. I rewatched it and I was like, this really isn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Aw.
it breaks your heart.
Yeah. No, like I love it still, but
It's just not
it's just
as
it
funny
wasn't
anymore.
as good as I remembered it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same with the Complete Savages. Do you remember that?
No.
A Nickelodeon show, and it was awful. It was so bad. But there was this episode with the turkey, and I remember it being the most funny thing. And I rewatched it, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
rewatching
it's
things
not
are
funny.
always like it's just a bad idea.
Yeah, you need to just leave it be.
Yeah.
The Scooby-Doo movie is another one. That's kind of one I used to watch at Halloween, but like
I
Oh,
love
as in,
the
like,
Scooby-Doo
I still love it
movie.
though, like because it's so
Aw.
like ratchet that you can literally just laugh at it
Yeah.
now. So
The live action one, yeah?
yeah,
Yeah, that was so good.
Did we
It
just
was
talk
so
about how
funny.
scary Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island actually was? Because
my
that
God,
actually
stop.
was
Yeah.
freaky.
It
and
was
what
so
a plot
scary.
twist at the end,
I
can I just say?
know.
Like,
do you remember what was it like? It was like the haunted clown or something like that on Scooby-Doo. It was this one episode, but it was terrifying. Like
I think
my
Some
friend
of it
literally
really
cried at
is,
it like every time
yeah.
it came on, and if you said show it to her now, she's like starts tearing up. It's like I can't watch it. Like, some of it was
Yeah.
terrifying. Like the way they drew it as well. It was just like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
they didn't hold back. They were like, yeah, let's put all these kids in therapy.
Yeah. Why not?
So
Hey, we can't not talk about Halloween Town. Like, and
Iconic.
the topic of Disney as well.
The Nightmare
Halloween
Before
Town-
Christmas as well.
yes,
Nightmare Before Christmas. Is the
Halloween Town was a
best.
classic.
Yeah, the little girl is like really grown up now. I was looking at a picture of her.
Yeah. Oh, they were talking about making another one. They made a 4th one, which didn't even have like the main girl in it, but then had the brother
Oh.
and this little sister.
That's
I was like,
strange.
we're not dumb. We understand. She left. She was an adult. She didn't want to come back to this.
And then there was Twitches.
Oh my
Do you
god,
remember
yes.
Tia and Tamara?
Yeah.
And they lived in Coventry. And I used to be like, oh my god, they're from where I'm from. But no.
No.
It's like Coventry.
Coventry, bit of a difference. I'm not from a magical realm.
You're not running from the
Unfortunately.
darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was the Twitches too, which was unnecessary. But
As all Disney
yeah,
sequels.
Yeah.
not even talk about that.
All Disney sequels. What about Cheetah Girls?
Yes, Cheetahs. High School Musical too as well.
Yeah, I
That,
think.
I way prefer that than the first one actually.
Yeah.
And I watched that the other night.
I know. I know.
You got the Snapchat.
I did. I did. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll head to the movie math now.
Movie math. Yes. So number 5 this week is Hotel Transylvania 2, making 148 million so far. The number 4 is The Last Witch Hunter, which is new this week and has made 10 million so far. Bridge of Spies held spot number 3, making 32.5 million. Goosebumps is at number 2, making
Yay.
43.7 million. And The Martian is back to number 1, although it dropped to number 2 last week, raking up a total of $166 million.
Wow.
There's a lot of moolah.
And then what's coming out this week? Bear with me, Soz.
Upcoming releases. We don't have Siobhan to do it this
I
week.
know.
Yeah.
Asha, you're slacking. You're meant to be taking her place. What are
I
you
know.
doing?
Oops.
So what's coming out this week is Spectre, Do I Sound Gay, The Vatican Tapes, Black Souls, Fresh Dressed, Bound to Vengeance, Under Milkwood,
Oh.
kicking off. And then coming out the following week, since we won't be here, is Burnt Brooklyn, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, He Named Me Malala, Kitchen Sink, Kill Your Friends, The Runner, and Steve Jobs.
Brooklyn was filmed in my hometown. Just pointing that out. Well, some of it. Enniscorthy. Yeah. Actually, I shouldn't have even said my hometown. That's disgusting.
The shade.
If you've seen Enniscorthy, you'd know what's up. That's
it will
all.
like be very much vamped up in post production, definitely. In that movie,
Yeah,
to
they
make it
actually
look
did up
better.
the streets so much. Like, it was so colourful.
It's grey in reality.
It is great.
Yeah. Okay, well that's all for this week, and have a great Halloween.
Yay.